So we're like 2 minutes late. We were busy celebrating, having our third period bourbons. I'm actually drinking rum in a bourbon barrel tonight.
Third period bourbons going into W bourbons.
Yep. So we're all back. We're better than ever because after a Rangers W, you always feel great. Great, a pretty solid game across the board. I would have liked to see less penalties on our side, but then again, the refs have been real ticky-tack the last two games. I'm not crying about it. I'm never going to cry about a win, but I think today they let a little bit more of the roughing pass, a little bit more collisions here and there without calls. Although they did miss some calls today, like clear high sticks in certain areas. They flat out missed calls, but whatever. It's
that stick from Oshie and right into Panarin's face. And then,
yeah, it's okay because Karma got Oshie back real.
Panarin got him back.
In the size of a 5'10", 180-pound flying Russian. Rangers win 4-3. Got a little hairy in the end. TJ, immediate thoughts?
Yeah, I absolutely like the point production that it got spread around tonight, right? The power plays, the Rangers were 2 for 6. You want to see them to be a little bit better than that with all the opportunities given. And even with those opportunities given, a lot of missed penalties. And I get it. It depending on who you're rooting for, you're going to see it one way and we're going to see it the other way. But, I mean, a lot of penalties went the wrong way. Like dude, that Trouba penalty, that Kreider penalty on the power play. Listen, Kreider shouldn't be pushing out, giving up the old two-hand in the back cross-check. But it was such a soft call. The guy threw himself on the floor. And then literally 6 minutes later, Trouba gets cross-checked in front of his own net. But since it's 5-on-5, I guess it's not a penalty. It was ticky-tack for some things. And I appreciate that it wasn't as soft as game one with the calls. But, I mean, you can't sit there and watch Tom Wilson throw an elbow and not call it, or a high stick and not call it right in Panarin's face. But then again, I think Panarin got away with that fucking hit to TJ Oshie because he definitely brought his shoulder up on his face. Then again,
he hit him with his ass.
Listen, dude, fuck TJ Oshie. TJ Oshie, the same asshole that fucking knocked Ryan Lindgren out of the playoffs last year, right?
I'm
out of the rest of the regular season.
I've got mixed feelings about anybody named TJ because, somebody's kid told me that they were going to beat me up and they didn't even sit there and say, oh, no, we're best friends. They just let it happen. So I got mixed feelings about anybody named TJ this week. I'm still thinking about it. That happened on St. Patty's Day, and I'm not over it yet.
I don't understand why you're still dwelling on it.
The only good thing TJ Oshie ever did was when he took those 1,000 penalty shots for Team USA against the Russians, which was fun, but they didn't even win a gold that year. But I mean, it was still fun, but that's it. But other than that, TJ Oshie go fuck himself.
Dude, you know what? I love what Panarin did there, though. I don't give a shit. TJ Oshie was all over him all night, and Panarin waited for his opportunity, and he essentially said, you fuck around, you find out, and sent them back into the back to get evaluated. Honestly, I was sitting there hoping that Oshie was done for the fucking series. I was hoping he was done for the rest of his career because you know what? I'm sick of people fucking with Panarin. After that Tom Wilson bullshit happened a few years ago, okay? And then it seems like the Rangers, it's open season on their better players, right? And then finally we get a little grit. We got a little grit with Revo. We picked up Reeves after that Tom Wilson situation, gave the Rangers a little extra oomph, a little extra firepower, and kind of protected the your playmakers on the team. And now you got Matt Rempe going out there. And essentially in everybody's head, but now I like the fact that he's smart enough, whether it's good coaching or he knows well enough to just I'm not giving any use fights. What's the point? We're up right now. We're winning. You're not getting I'm not mixing it up with you. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, I think I like that a lot of the Rangers at this point, like Washington obviously is the lesser team talent-wise. So really the only thing they can really do is just get in the Rangers' heads and play a little dirty and hopefully they get a lot of penalties. Obviously, we know the power play is really good. I mean, they scored 2 goals in the power play. Was it all 3 goals in the power play? Or was it 2? I think it was 2 on the power play today. And obviously, I mean, they're a good power play team. They're one of the best in NHL. So
on both sides. On both sides.
Both sides.
Power play and the penalty kill.
Yeah, no, oh yeah. But my thing is, it's like the Rangers right now, like Will Cooley kept his cool. Like every time they had a chance to get into the Rangers' head and to get into a fight or do a dumb penalty or try to get a hit and then get called for a penalty, the Rangers kept their cool. And that's what they got to do. They're the better team. They have much better talent than the Capitals do. They just got to keep at it and just play their game, and you're gonna win. Get out of the series and move on. Think about the next team. I mean, it's just annoying watching it as a fan because you're like, Tom Wilson's the biggest scumbag. I'm trying not to curse. My daughter's staying up late to let her watch a little hockey with us, and I'm just like, oh, I can't say that. I want to say this, I guess, but we're all thinking it. You know, Tom Wilson. Every time you see him throw an elbow up or do something dirty, you're just like, fuck this guy. This guy sucks,
dude. He's an asshole though. Like that's the thing. He's an out and out asshole. He has the talent where he can actually play some hockey, but he goes out of his way to do like certain things. He does the shit that is exactly why everybody hates Brad Marchand, right? It's just that dirty, sneaky, like petty little bullshit that he pulls. And Tom Wilson happens to be a big guy. Listen, Brad Marchand's a little guy. You kind of look past it a little bit like, whatever. He's just running around trying to get in people's heads. But Tom Wilson is somebody that can hurt you, and we've seen him hurt many players. And he has a reputation. He's been suspended, 6 times now in his career? So he has a reputation of being a piece of shit, and he backs it up, right? He continues to show you why, like, as a fan, you sit there hoping that somebody just says, fuck it, I can use 5 nights off, and just two hands him in the back of the fucking leg, and that's Tom Wilson's season. I'd sit there and celebrate.
I just want to say hello out there to those watching. I'm sure you enjoyed that Rangers win as we did. Drop us a comment. Let's interact. Let's talk about this. We got to scream it from the rooftops. Let's go Rangers. All right.
2-0 lead. 4-0 in the Garden with Knicks and the Rangers. So let's fucking go. I'm amped up. It's been a good weekend. Really good weekend.
What I'm actually liking to say, and I hope I don't mush it by saying it, but is it just me, or has Miller played amazingly the last 2 games? Keandre Miller, the first game, I was sitting there going, wow. Like when you don't say a defenseman's name, or you only say it like, he made a nice recovery there, or wow, blocked a shot with his body. You're sitting there, okay, good. And then tonight with the shorty, right place, right time, didn't choke, thank God. And Keandre Miller's got a point, a shorthanded goal, his first shorthanded goal of his career, and it happens in game 2 of the playoffs. Good on him. He's had a good first 2 games. I hope I don't mush him. And I wish
tremendous passing on that play. That the patience.
It was.
Who was that? Zibanejad waited and set him up.
It was Mika cried. It was Mika to Kreider, Kreider back to Mika, and then Mika to Miller. And
the passing in that sequence was tremendous. And then, not for nothing, even though Miller has that open shot, like he had to rip it and bury it, and he puts it just under the bar. Like, what a goal, right? Like that's a goal you need to score there, and that happened to be the difference maker. But it's so insane where the shots are going. Roslovic, another to snipe just under the bar.
That was
right.
Snipe. Yeah.
Like these are good goals. These aren't like bullshit little garbage goals in front of the net, grinded out goals. Like these were solid snipes. It's impressive, dude. But I was really happy on that shorthanded goal. Just the patience of the Rangers. Like you said, Kreider to Mika, and then Mika feeds Miller just wide open coming down the slot. And that was just beautiful.
That entire play, Mika took the puck away from Ovechkin, brought it down the ice, back to Kreider, Kreider back to Mika, and then set up Miller. But I want to say it's a good night for guys that TJ talks shit about, because Mika Zibanejad played fucking incredible today. And then you also have I'm probably going to butcher this. Roslovic scores a goal. So, I mean, those 2 guys, I talk shit about Roslovic too, though. But
well, no, it's not that I talk shit, but dude, it's noticeable. The first line power play to the second power play unit, right? Like Roslovic and Wenberg, it's like come on. There's no firepower.
He played pretty good defensively today, though.
I'm not saying I'm not getting on them. I'm not saying they don't play well. Like again, it's like the Barclay Goudreau thing, right? Barclay Goudreau. I have no problem with Barclay Goudreau until we start talking about his contract. Right, and what we pay him to do what he does. He's tremendous. He's an asset for the Rangers. The Rangers need a guy like him to kill penalties and go out there and kill some time and kill clock and not make mistakes. He's not going to screw over the team. But at the same time, the amount of money he gets paid to score 3 goals a season, You know what I mean? It's frustrating for a fan, especially with the tight cap space that we always seem to be just under and inside of.
Yeah.
We can't be the Tampa Bay Lightning and magically pay our star guy to come back out of retirement like $7 million that doesn't count towards the cap. We don't get those breaks.
Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch any of the intermission reports?
A little bit,
yeah.
Did anybody else find it weird that nobody on and maybe it's just the fans that do it? Nobody on that intermission report had a nickname for Gaudreau because they were talking about how he dropped back and basically handed the puck to TJ Oshie, and they were like, Oshie must have been like, "Hey, good." What do they call him? Rosie. What do they call him? Good, gooey. What do they call him? I'm like, I'm fairly certain they call him Goody. Like, don't you call him Goody?
It's Goody, yeah. It's Goody.
I'm like, do they watch? Like, does Messier watch the Rangers that he doesn't know that Barclay Goodrow's nickname is Goody? Or is it just us, the fans, that call him Goody, and like everybody else in the NHL is calling him Rosie?
Oh, you were watching the intermission report for what, TNT?
Yeah. For ESPN.
Oh, ESPN. Sorry. They're on MSG. I've been watching MSG.
Yeah,
I was in the truck. I was in the truck. I couldn't watch.
Oh, okay.
MSG won't let me watch it in my truck.
Yeah, I got you.
But I can watch ESPN.
Yeah, you can watch
ESPN. The only thing that irked me with that sequence is how PK Sluban was sitting there like essentially like, yeah, you know what? The series is over. The Rangers need to just win this in 4 and get out of there and save their energy. No reason to play extra games. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, don't touch the money. Don't do that shit. Shut up.
I was talking about that today at work. So my question for you is, do you want everybody else to go 7 while your team sweeps, or do you have that? I have that mindset where it's like, if you play 4 and then you're off for like 5 days because everybody else is going 7, you're cold. Now you're coming out cold. That's how I agree. I don't want to go 7. Don't get me wrong. I do not want to go 7, but I don't mind going 5 and keeping that.
Yeah.
Especially if other people are going to go 6, going to go 7, you don't want to have that. I feel like that's a real thing where people have too many days off, and because they have too many days off, it kind of kills the momentum.
Well, especially, the series is going to turn out like the longer it goes on, the more gritty and nasty it's going to be. Like you said, the Rangers are the better team. Especially from a scoring ability standpoint, offensively, the Rangers are head and shoulders above the Capitals. Right. So the Capitals are going to try to get on their skin, like Rook said, and they're going to try to do things to antagonize the Rangers and knock them off their game. Right. Yep. And thus far, the Rangers 2 games in a row have been able to stay away from that. And you like to see that. Like I said, I love what Panarin did. You can't take shit too much. And you know what? You're going to fuck around. He made Oshie find out. But at the same time, you do not want to get dragged into that sort of, tit for tat nastiness, because somebody's going to get hurt, most likely named Ryan Lindgren. Right? It's you just want to get the W's, you want to score the goals and get out of here unscathed. You want everybody to be healthy. You want to maintain that grit and that edge, like we said. And even so, even if the game, even if we come out of this series, knock on wood, I'm not trying to touch the money, but come out of the series with that last game being a in your face, grinded out tough game. So maybe that 2 or 3 days lull in between, you're still mad, right? You still got that fire in your belly. You're still ready to go out there. You definitely don't want to be sitting at home for 6 days like, oh yeah, whatever, we'll get back out there. Where's the Haagen-Dazs, sweetheart? You don't want to be sitting on the couch hammering down ice cream sandwiches waiting for the next playoff game. Like how I'm going to do.
Definitely not. Another point I want to make is, when we were watching the Rangers in 2022 and they made that run, right? What was the biggest issue? It was always failure to win a faceoff. Couldn't win a faceoff. Can't win a faceoff.
Yeah.
It is a fresh of breath air to have Vincent Trocheck.
Fresh of breath air?
Okay. I heard that. He did say that. Put the third period bourbon down. It's breath of fresh air, you drunkard.
No more third period. Breath of fresh air to have Vincent Trocheck on this team and to win faceoffs. It's just incredible to see. Obviously, I know it's been happening all year long. It's what he's always done, even last year too. It's not his first year on the team, but in compared to other playoff appearances, the Rangers, what was always the issue? It's always the faceoff, and the fact the Rangers could finally win them with Vincent Trocheck, love it. It's
how the turntables,
how the turntable, and it's just a big point. He's so big and huge on this for this Rangers squad to have him here. It's I'm happy. I mean, I appreciated my guys tonight. We're gonna appreciate our guys tonight about
Listen,
Mika come over from that Derek Brassard trade, right? And he played awesome tonight, man. I know
I was in the crowd tonight. Did you see that? I was like, oh shit.
I did not listen to the ball, CJ, because I know he's obviously had a tough season, but to see him play tonight the way he can, it's like it's still there. Like I like that he turned it on. I like that Keandre Miller is turning it on. He's playing well in the postseason. Obviously, he's had a tough season as well.
The fact that he joins the rush there, and they're shorthanded, and he still joins the rush. That's the Keandre Miller that we've missed essentially since the spitting incident, right? He hasn't had that like fire and that nastiness and that like drive to like get in on every play. And whether that's just, maturing in the league and knowing like, hey, let me just keep to my spot and not get, beat on a play that I pinched too early on or whatever, that's fine. But like what we just saw out of Keandre Miller, knowing what he can do, knowing that he can slip that fucking puck over the shoulder underneath the bar, shorthanded, like, he's a tremendous player. I want to see more of that out of him. Like, that's what we've been missing all year out of him. That's because we know that's what he's capable of. And that's what, like, Rangers Twitter gets very nitpicky and we get very much, like, nasty on each other's case. Oh, Lafreniere sucks. Lafreniere's good. Kako seems to be the other one that's like, oh, fuck that guy. It's a 50-50 split. But Keandre, we've been on him since the spitting incident because he hasn't been the same player, right? He hasn't had that nastiness, that ferocity. He hasn't been bringing it. You see it in like little clips and bursts, but not through and through like his first year on the scene where he impressed the hell out of all of us. It was like, yo, who's this kid? And how can we lock him up for the rest of his career, right? So joining in on that rush, dude, and scoring that shorthanded goal, you want to talk about taking, number one, the wind out of the sails of the Capitals, and then just like boosting your team and having the Garden like go berserk. Like that is such a boost for the team. That is such a morale hit right there. It's insane to have that building rocking like that. You can ride that for 10 minutes alone.
Oh, 100%. And I think I don't know. Is it the turning point for Keandre Miller at the time when he beat the shit out of what's his name, Marino? Was it Marino?
It might be. It might be. I in my mind, he beat the shit out of Marino, and he was like, "You made me do this," because he's not a fighter. I think that was his first career fight, and you got fucking Devils fans going, "Marino's not a fighter." I'm sorry, Miller is.
Miller's not either. He's just
not a fighter. We found out why. He basically took a John Wick fucking oath that he would not raise a hand again, and and the Devils put him in that situation where they were, "You made me do this. I didn't want to."
Oh God, that's actually really funny.
Word is that Marino's still in rehab for that, like just the PTSD moment. He's terrified of like, a tall man coming near him, and he curls up into the fetal position to avoid it.
I tried finding that clip to put into the intro, and because remember that fight when that happened, we were like, ESPN fucked up because they never like actually got all the footage. I couldn't find the clip of it unless it was like some grainy like fan who was watching the game and put it on. But I just couldn't find any footage, any clip.
I believe Marino's family paid handsomely to have it scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah, if someone has that clip, send it to us because I'll definitely put it into the intro so we can see that. That's my favorite clip, just seeing him beating the shit out of him. His chain's falling off. Igor's picking it up, and he's just going to town on Marino.
I don't know. I still think that picture that I sent you guys of Shesterkin just kind of skating past Bastion when he was just laying on the floor. Always makes my day.
Shesty looked at him and he was like, you fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Dude, but again, you know what? Igor Shesterkin, like dude, tremendous. What a game, dude. And then seeing before the game, like skating over to his son and wife, right? And tapping it and stuff like that. And you see Igor's son pointing. It's like, hey, daddy, protect that net over there. I don't know. The nod, like, you know what to do.
I don't know his son's name. I'm going to call him little Igor. Little Igor gets the motivation from motivates Big Igor to play well. When he puts that finger in the air and just tells him, get in your house, protect that net, do your thing. It is awesome. It's every game, and it's such a cool thing now.
So once again, we want to thank our viewers out there. You're catching up with us. We're here doing our post-game Rangers show. Rangers defeat the Washington Capitals 4-3 at the Garden, go up 2-0 in the series in the first round of the Stanley Cup Finals playoff rather. And we're here, Scoreboard Addicts podcast, talking about it. Just having the greatest time right now, talking about a Rangers W. The blue shirts of Broadway, living the dream.
Let me ask you guys.
We have our Twitter handles there with this, at Score Addicts Pod, at Jabberjaw, and at Rook22. So hit us up if you have any questions or remarks. We'll show your comment up on the screen.
If you have that video of Miller beating the tar out of Marino, we will add it. We will add it to our intro for the post game. Please send it our way. We'll add it.
Yeah.
So 100%. when VC misses that empty netter, like, tell me, like, a little bit, you didn't just, like, think to yourself, like, oh, fuck. Oh, that's going to bite us in the ass. Like, we need that.
I was like, why did he shoot so far? I think he could have gotten a little bit closer. I think he shot it a little too soon. He
probably could have taken an extra couple strides, but, like, from there, empty net, like, open shot, you got to hit that, right?
Yeah.
You got to hit that. And then it literally did almost that last, like, 40 seconds from the Capitals. They had us on our heels, dude. They were firing from every sort of angle that they could. They were throwing it at the net. And once again, thank God we have Igor Shesterkin between the pipes, because he stood on his head. He kept everything out. Dude, a couple of those shots, I'm like, I didn't even like see who that hit or where to go, but like now it's behind the net. The only thing that really pissed me off is the fact that nobody, like, I'm screaming, just ice the puck, do something with it, get it out of the zone, and they're just feathering it off the boards, and the Caps just kept keeping it in. I'm like, no, don't do this.
Was that Carlson? Carlson, who kept catching it?
Carlson,
right? So every time I was like, this motherfucker. He's like, what did you play baseball when you were a kid? Like, he gloved it every time. It was just like, put it back. I'm like, get it in the fucking zone. I'm like freaking out. It was what I think it was. It was a full minute and 10 seconds, wasn't it? I feel like the faceoff happened like a minute 10, and then it didn't no stoppage until the end of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, after Jimmy V missed that empty netter, the Capitals pretty much had it in our zone the rest of the game.
And I was just having a heart attack, not being able to breathe for a minute 10, and I'm just like, this is horrible. I
can't wait to
get that up.
Dude, I can't wait to see my neighbor tomorrow, because after the first game on Sunday, I was outside in my yard, and my neighbor was like, hey, is everything all right? Like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, you're like flipping out last night. I was like, oh, yeah, I was watching the Ranger game. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, shit. Thank God this dude didn't call the cops thinking I was just murdering everybody in the house. I'm like, yo, dude, it's hockey playoffs. It's Ranger time, man. You're going to hear a lot of screaming and yelling and terrible language. I may even throw something through the window.
You know what? And our 30 viewers right now, they're probably agreeing the same thing right now. Let's hear from them. Send us some comments out there. We want to talk. We want to talk Rangers. Let's interact, interface. That's what the whole Rangers community is about.
So, TJ, obviously, I know you're not a big basketball guy. Have you watched the Knicks playoffs or no?
Nah. Dude, I already told you. You were trying to talk to me about the Yankees the other day, and I was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about anything right now other than Rangers hockey.
I did catch the first half of the Knicks game yesterday. I could not catch the second half, so I missed the amazing finish. They were winning when I turned off the game, though.
Yeah, so between having to watch the Knicks and Rangers every other night, pretty much until, I don't know, hopefully until June, I don't know how I'm gonna survive. That Knick game was so intense. Between the finish from the Knick game yesterday and the finish from the Rangers today, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen to me if it's a cardiac type of a playoff season. We're both.
Blood pressure is definitely through the roof. My liver's definitely going to be hurting after this next month and a half. Hopefully,
you should have been training your liver for this mission. You should have been training your liver for this all season. How dare you, sir?
I've tried my best. All right. Only quitters quit, and I ain't quitting yet.
Talking about trying your best right now, Colorado is playing Winnipeg right now, and Winnipeg's up 1-0, and Alexander Georgiev is trying his best, folks. Believe me.
Speaking of drinking, I got to grab another drink. Hold on.
Enjoy. So the Rangers, another victory. Hard fought this one. But you know what? I will say this, and you know me, Nick. We're both Jet fans. I'm very pessimistic when it comes to my teams. I always think the worst is going to happen, and I expect it to happen. but I felt like the Rangers were in complete control this entire game. Like, never once was I like, oh man, they're getting outplayed, they're getting beat to the puck, they're losing the face-off battles, they're losing the battles up against the boards. At no point did I think that the Rangers were in jeopardy of losing control of this game. And that's what I got to say, like, is tremendous coming in from the season we had, right? We had our that huge win streak, right? We end up with the President's Trophy, but there were, towards the end, we started losing to teams that we were just playing down to their level. And that's what kind of scared me about coming in and facing the Capitals. Because, again, even though Alexander Ovechkin is older, he's still Ovi. Right, he can still, if you feed him on that side, he's still gonna rifle it and score half the time. And dude, he's a ghost out there. Like, we were goofing on Tom Wilson, saying Tom Wilson was nowhere to be found in game 1, and he was a non-factor. So far, Alexander Ovechkin has been neutralized, and it's amazing.
He had no shots in the first game. In game 1, there were no shots on goal. So I mean, I don't know what it was this time for this game, but he definitely
he had a couple shots, but a few of them were blocked, and one of them I think he just completely missed and healed the puck. Right?
Yeah, like at the end of the game, he had like 3 or 4 shots, but I don't think any of them came on goal.
No, like none of them were like great. None of them were like teed up, right? None of them were like just crisp, ripped. Age is catching up to him, or it's just not his year. I don't know. And everybody keeps saying like, oh yeah, you know, he had another good year, 31 goals. It's like, that's not a good year for Ovechkin. That's a good, like, okay year, but that's not like a Ovechkin year, right?
And the thing is too with Ovechkin, he's what? I think he's like 40 something away from tying Gretzky or beating Gretzky.
Yeah, for the
goals. So I feel like you're gonna see Ovechkin for at least a couple of years until he finally beats it.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's not going anywhere.
A season or 2 to beat it anyway, so he's not going anywhere. But he's definitely not the same Ovechkin that like we feared in the past, where it's like
that whole team. It's that whole team. None like Oshie's not the same player that he was 10 years ago.
Well, they sold off at the trade deadline. They weren't.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, dude. The fact that they were sellers at the trade deadline and then they turned it on. I mean, listen, we saw what happened. We saw the Flyers' absolute collapse, which nobody expected to happen. That was crazy. And now we have these situations where you got the Hurricanes dominating the Islanders, making the Islanders look like they definitely don't belong in the playoffs. You know, they eked in there at the end, played some good hockey towards the end of the regular season. And it's showing that you can't just kind of barely make it in there and expect to do well, because you're facing juggernauts. And that's the other thing. I'm watching this Winnipeg game right now too, because the fact that Winnipeg has a chance to go up 2-0 on the Avalanche, amazing, right? Like I do not want to see the Avalanche. Nobody wants to see the Avalanche.
Friend. I concur, my friend.
So I have a stat that's going to hurt both of your feelings.
Why would you want to do that to us?
Teams named the Jets. The past, like, I think it was like 13 years. Teams named the Jets in the playoffs, scoring at least 7 points or more. Winnipeg Jets twice. New York Jets 0.
Thanks.
I can't even
Thanks
get it
a lot.
out.
Fuck that guy.
Get him out of here. He's gone.
Throw him in the bedroom.
It's hockey season. The Jets just catching strays. They're like, well, we're just sitting home relaxing. What do we need to get made fun of for? And it's been all over the internet. That stat.
We're not even talking about fucking football right now. We're talking about fucking hockey.
It's just funny.
Well, we are talking about New York Rangers, baby.
7 goals.
You son of a bitch. I can't believe you just did that.
All right. So you know what? Now we move on to game 3 down in Washington, right? What is it? Friday is game 3?
Friday, game 3, yep.
Okay. So I honestly, I have a feeling Ranger fans are going to travel very well.
Yes.
I have a feeling, but it's not far. And I didn't look up the prices, but there is no way it's, $400 to walk in for the worst seat in the house for 1 ticket. I don't think that's going on down there in Washington, D.C.
I don't think so either.
So I look forward to seeing a sea of Rangers jerseys down there. Especially since, listen, the Capitals, like we said, were sellers at the end. Nobody even expected them to make the playoffs. They end up getting into the playoffs. They're down 2-0 to the Rangers. They've been outplayed every step of the way. I really hope it's one of those like Devils Rangers at the Rock where it's like a sea of blue jerseys, like 70% Ranger fans. I would love to see that. Honestly, if either one of you guys want to start looking, I can take off of work on Friday. We can shoot down to DC. I'll bring my bulletproof vest, but we'll be all right.
As much as I would love to be there, I'm saving for a wedding, and I cannot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it either. But I want to say that I had a point to make. I totally forgot because
you're still out of breath from the game, from screaming and yelling. The game ended 40 minutes ago, and you're still out of breath. You got to relax, man.
That's called being a fan, damn it, and I'm proud of you.
Cops. Watching cops.
So the one thing I will say, and I lost my shit when Gustafsson jumped there and got us the too many men penalty. That's like, I hate too many men on the ice, right? Like, you can't take that penalty. That is such a shitty penalty to take in that spot. And of course, fucking Tom Wilson with the dagger gets the piece of that puck and gets the goal off of that, right? Like that sequence was the only point of this game where I was actually losing my mind and like flipping out.
In my head, I'm watching the game. They're up 4-2. They're on the power play. The defenseman right in front of the net loses his puck. They get it to Kreider, who's right in front of him, and he like waits out Lindgren and then shoots it. Obviously doesn't score. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, there's no stick. Defenseman lost the stick. Get it to Kreider. I'm like, we're up 5-2. And then next thing you know, penalty, 2 men on the ice, power play is over, 4-on-4 for a little bit, and then you got to deal with the power play, and then 4-3 game, and then my heart's to my chest because that's what the Rangers do, the cardiac Rangers. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
So
overall,
do you want to see more penalties like this though? Like, yeah, solid game, but I'd rather listen. The power play helps us a lot, right? We're solid on the power play, but I'd rather them just play. Like we said, they missed a couple calls for us on our side. Panarin gets away with that, delivering of the shoulder to Oshie's face, which we all love. But I'd rather see a grittier series, right? Like, I'd rather see it just let them play. But again, letting them play, you still got to call that high stick that Panarin ate, right in front of the ref. Wes McCauley standing right there, no call. That had to be called, and it's not. The cross check on Kreider was a joke, or from Kreider rather. That was it's such a dive. I would have been fine with it if they would have called both of them. Like, listen, Kreider has no excuse. You really should. You can't do this when you're on the power play. You're gonna get it. As soft as that was of a push, you're going up with two hands and a cross check to the back. The guy hits the ground, and you're on the power play. They're gonna get you every time. Right, you got to be a little smarter than that, but still, soft call. I'd rather them just game 3. I want to see them play hockey. I want to see them let that ticky tack bullshit go. I want to see it grinded out, good old fashioned game.
Yeah, actually, wouldn't be surprised if the NHL has like the refs overcorrect and like there's barely any penalties in game 3 because I feel like between periods 1 and 2, the entire game was just a power play. Like it was either Capitals power play, Rangers power play, 4-on-4. It was always something. A power play while a penalty happens to the Rangers while they're on a power play, creating another power play. It was just insane. And I feel like the NHL might have a little correction on game 3, and a little less penalties, less ticky tacky. Maybe more of the bigger.
The first game was ridiculous. The first game was like really overboard, and I thought that this game might have been an overcorrection where they were just sitting there like, all right, keep the whistles in our pockets tonight, boys, because on Sunday everybody seemed to be pissed off that we blew everything.
They were like, fuck it, we want more attention. Let's fucking call every penalty.
Seriously. And you know what? If the Rangers do, knock on wood, the Rangers come away with a W for game 3, there's definitely going to be some talk from the league to the officiating crew like, hey, this might get nasty in games 4 or 5 if it gets to 5, right? Like, you could see it. It's everybody's out there getting a little – this game was very nasty from the Capital side. They were definitely trying to get under the Rangers' skin. They were definitely trying to get in their headspace. And, good on the Rangers for not allowing them to do it. But at what point do you think that Lav is just like, yeah, go ahead, Remp. Go throw somebody around.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be if I think we see it if the Rangers happen to be down by a few goals towards the in a third period, if that happens to happen. If not, I think if you see something, if it keeps progressing, the series keeps progressing in this nasty sort of way that the Caps are pushing it. I think if something tips that scale to like egregious, that's when you'll see Laviolette send Rempe out there and be like, yo, go hurt somebody.
It was egregious. Applebee's has rats.
Oh no, I think key to this.
The whole rat in the Cobb salad.
We need 2 more wins now. Move on. Just keep your composure, Rangers. You know the Capitals, what their game is. They need their power plays. They want you to get dirty, make a dumb penalty, get pissed off. So just keep your composure. I think you guys did a good job of that the last 2 games.
Are we just quoting Will Ferrell movies now? Because at some point somebody said I was watching Cops and I just said Applebee's has rats, and then you just said keep your composure. I think we're just quoting Will Ferrell movies at this point. But I think that's 36 minutes of talking Rangers. I loved it. I know you guys loved it. I'm looking forward to the next one. The next one will be TJ.
It's Friday night.
Friday night, winner will be here. We'll be here to talk Rangers. All right. It'll be a good talk. It'll be a great time. Catch our regular show Thursday, 8 o'clock. If you liked what you saw here, you'll like what you see then, except we talk about a little bit more and about liquor. So it'll be a good show then, too. From all of us here at Scoreboard Addicts Podcast, I'm Nick. That's TJ. That's the Rook. Let's go Blue Shirts. Let's go Knickerbockers. And let's go Sports for New York. Adios, amigos. We'll catch you next time.
Hey.